We'd like to call this meeting in order. This is
Recording in
the
progress.
Weber County Commission meeting on today, October 18th. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, actually 10:01, and we welcome you here today. Oh, geez. We'll start today with the Pledge of Allegiance by Steve Burton, Invocation by Gage Farrar, and Thought of the Day by Commissioner Harvey.
Wow, there you go.
No, by me. I'll give that. So we'll go to that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father in heaven, as we come before you on this beautiful fall day in Weber County, we give you thanks for all your blessings, especially those blessings of freedom, the right to choose, and those that lead us and inspire us in all areas of our life. We give thanks for our self-determination and ability to live our lives in a manner that will benefit all those people and friends around us. We ask for your strength, Father, today to find the way, even through suffering and distress, to help those in need and make sure that their strength is fully recovered and their spirits are fully restored in these difficult times. We do ask for a blessing on all our veterans and our first responders in today's world, that they may continue to be in good health and serve this country and county in a way that we all appreciate the hard work they put forth. We say this prayer, Father, in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Farrar. That was a great prayer. So, my thought today has to do with the fact that we're approaching election time.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, if you've opened the paper lately or turned on the TV last night at 5 o'clock, you've seen a debate between Mike Lee and Evan McMullen.
Oh, I missed that.
If you've anything that's happening, it's all we can talk about right now is the elections. Well, that's my point. Exactly. Time for us to stand up, be counted. If you want to maintain your freedoms and keep the country the way it is, and you got to go to the polls. This is how it happens in our country. We've got a great democracy, democratic republic that we have here, and you remember. Trying to think of who it was, Thomas Jefferson, that says, here it is, now it's your job to keep it. Well, that's what we do now. It's our job to keep this, and we've got to do. You know, I'm really proud of Ricky and the elections and all that happens down there under your portfolio, Ricky. We've all been down there. We've had a chance to walk through, and we make sure that one person, one vote, that nobody gets two or three, and we've inspected your processes. We know the people that work intimately in that, and I have total trust on what is happening in Weber County. Makes me very, very happy. And of course, that's the magic of the electoral process, is the fact that they do it across the nation, county by county. So it makes it very hard for somebody to influence an entire state illegally. Now, whether that happened or not, we don't want to debate that, but I do want to leave the message and impression today that it's important for us to get out and be counted. You can complain all you want, but if you can't vote, your complaint's kind of hollow. So come on, get out and vote. And that's my message today, is that you've got just, what, a week here, week and a half?
Well,
2 weeks.
actually,
November 8th, isn't it?
It's November 8th, but ballots should be arriving today and tomorrow.
That's right.
three weeks today, right?
So the ballots, you should
Yeah.
be getting them today and tomorrow.
That's right, 18th, you're right.
That's right. So
Like clockwork.
tear the top off, vote, seal it, stick your stamp on, and send it back in.
Make sure you sign the ballot, though.
And make sure you sign the ballot.
Well, you don't even have to mail it, you can drop it on one of our favorite.
That's true.
Save the 50-some cents, yeah.
And those drop boxes work very good. They're all under camera now. We're complying with federal law, and it's great. All right, here we go. That's my message for today.
You know, Chair, if I might say something, that's a great
Yeah.
thought. An interesting article I read in the paper a couple weeks ago that they interviewed, half a dozen or 5 or 6 people and asked them about voting and what their top priority was. And I was amazed that four out of the 6, as I recall, hadn't voted, and they weren't planning on voting because they weren't that informed, and these were younger people, which tells us that is, you know, it amazes me that people have that mentality in today's world, but you hit it right on the head.
No, I agree. I'm amazed that when they say they're not that informed, they've got to be going out of their way not to look at things, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere around us. We send out notices. It's in the paper. Of course, you know, none of my kids take the paper, and they. I try to keep them informed. I tell them about what I read and what I see, but they just, I don't know. It's just not the world we were raised in. Things have changed now. If it's not on their iPhone, I don't even want to talk about it.
That's exactly right.
That's right there. All right.
Good talk.
Thank you. You okay? You're kind of staring like you want to say something.
It was beautiful.
All right. Well, that's the thought of the day. So we will now go to item Agenda E as in echo, and that is public comment. We have very little public today. Is there anybody here that would like to comment? We'd love to hear from you.
We're online. Sylvia.
Sylvia's there.
Do you want to say anything? You sit here very patiently every week. Okay. Anybody online? All right. Well, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which are the consent items. I'll read them here with my new eyes. Item one. Shelley said today, well, you got your reading glasses on. Why? It's like, well, when I do a lot of reading, it's still nice, but I can see to read. So anyway, consent items are item 1, request for approval of the warrants is listed today in the amount of $827,524. Item 2 is request for purchase orders in the amount of $24,250. Ricky, would you like to give us a summary of those?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a small purchase order list this week for 6 POs for $24,000. The largest amount was 40% of the total, or $10,000, and that's for the feasibility study for the Weber Center parking structure. We issued 157 warrants this week for $828,000. 22% of that amount, or $183,000, was an escrow release for the Overlook subdivision. 11%, or $95,000, was for the Weber Center HVAC repairs, as well as some rent for the public defender space. 10%, or $85,000, was construction to the Health Annex building. We had 2 items at 7%, or about $62,000, one for the library to purchase books and materials, and another for roads to make equipment repairs and purchase highway supplies. And then we had 2 items at 5%, or about $43,000. One was corridor preservation for North Street in Ogden, as well as 2550 South in Ogden, and then one for the Public Defender Services.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Questions, commissioners?
None for me.
None from me, Mr. Chair.
Well, I have none either. So then I'll go to item 4 on the agenda, which is approval of the minutes for the meeting held October the 11th. Item 5 is request for approval of beer licenses. Item 6 is approval of business licenses, and item 7 is approval from the Sheriff's Office to surplus a 2008 Diamondback airboat and a 2008 Ramlin airboat trailer. We've had these presented to us, so we're aware of what's happening here. Any questions on consent items?
None for me.
No, Mr. Chair, if you're,
I'm ready.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve those consent items as read.
Good.
And I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. They are approved. First action item on our agenda today is the item G1, which is a request for approval of the resolution of Weber County appointing members to the RAMP, Recreation, Art, Museum, and Parks Advisory Board and Committee. Mrs. Shelley Halsey, good to have you here today.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you.
You bet. Shelley, before we get into this, I just want you to know how much we appreciate you managing and handling this RAMP board and all the effort that goes into that. People are not in the office when we are, and we see you with these massive files you put together in about, well, enough for everybody on this committee, which is like 15 boxes of them. And they're in the room, and they spend days, not hours, days in these rooms making these decisions. And,
Weeks, sometimes.
Well,
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
weeks.
a few months.
Anyway, we appreciate you and your effort. I
Thank
want you to know that.
Commissioners. Next to making sure you guys are all taken care of, RAMP is the favorite part of my job, so I appreciate that. The RAMP board had 6 openings for board members. We posted in the Standard Examiner that we were accepting applications. The chairs of the Advisory Board, Recreation and Parks Committee, and the Arts and Museums Committee met and selected 6 out of 12 applications that we received. Those names are now forwarded to you for your approval, and I will read those recommendations for clarification. Lacey Richards is hereby appointed as Chair of the Advisory Board. Ernie Gonzalez is appointed as Chair of the Arts and Museums Committee, and Kevin Burns is appointed as Chair of the Recreation and Parks Committee. These appointments shall be for 1 year with terms to begin on October 1st, 2023. Kobe Bockwalt is reappointed to serve on the Advisory Board and Recreation and Parks Committee. This appointment will expire October 1st of 2023. Kenna Brown, Renee Woods, and Sunny Wilkinson are hereby reassigned to the Advisory Board to serve for the remainder of their terms. Jordan Brun, I think it's Jordan Brunn, actually, Jim Craig, Dana Gibson, and Sylvia Newman are hereby appointed as members of the Arts and Museums Committee with terms to begin on October 1st, 2022. Those terms will continue for a period of 3 years. Breck Holmes and Liz Morrison are hereby appointed as members of the Recreation and Parks Committee with terms to begin on October 1st of 2022, and those terms shall continue for a period of 3 years. Also, Lacey is here, I've noticed, so if you have any questions for me or for Lacey, we're happy to answer.
Lacey may want to talk.
Thank you, Lacey. We appreciate you being here as the chair of this committee. Would you care to say anything today? This is a big job.
You know, it's also the best job I've ever had. No, Commissioners, thank you very much for the support that you give to RAMP. It's such an important program in our community. It brings good into the lives of all of our residents, and I am honored to be part of it, so thank you.
Thank you. I love what you just said. That brings goodness to the lives of all of our residents. That is true. When you drive around and see the parks and the museums and all the things that this has funded, it's amazing. And it started out with a couple $1 million, and it's up to about $6 million a year, isn't it now? So it's wonderful.
Wow.
And, you know, and it takes a lot of effort to give $6 million away.
As those committee members well know, because they do a lot of they do a ton of homework and a ton of on-site research
Yeah,
and a
they
ton
do.
of go to the places and vet the applications. It's inspiring to see that process. Great people that have genuine good interest at heart. It's wonderful.
If I might add, our board members have always been so diligent that if an application comes in that's not quite ready, they would rather save the money for the following year rather than put RAMP on something that's not ready to be funded and have it not look like a great RAMP project.
Yeah, and I believe that our board members all donate their time. I don't think they
Yes.
get paid for this, right?
They don't get paid, and they do a
We
lot of
buy them
work.
lunch.
Get them lunch on occasion, so.
Right.
No,
That's it.
so to take that interest in
right.
our public dollars is very special. Yeah.
I agree with that. It's special. Well, thank you very much. Does that end your presentation?
That's it.
Very good. So the motion today is to make these board appointments, and make that complete. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we approve the Resolution 44-2022 to appoint those new members as was recommended to us by the board and Ms. Halsey.
Second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second to that. I would just like to say, I know that we had, of the 6 positions, we had 6 that didn't get appointed. And we would recommend and ask them to please not be offended and try again another year. Everybody can't be appointed, you know. We have to make decisions, and some of them are driven by personalities, some of them are driven by lots of other reasons, and it's just the way it is. It's a process that we go through, and we try to do the best we can. So please do that. Submit your name again another year. All right, with that, I'm going to call this. All in favor, say aye. Roll call. Craig, sorry.
Roll call vote for Resolution 44-2022. Commissioner Frohr.
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey.
Aye.
Chair Jenkins.
Aye. Thank you. All right, item number 2 today is being held. So we will go to item 3, which is a request for duly appointed executive assistant, hold on, I've got it off on the line. Request for approval of contract between Weber County and martial law for indigent defense conflict contract. James Rotalick isn't here, is he?
I can believe Chris
Can you
Crock
do that,
can
Chris?
Sure,
Thank you, sir.
no problem. So the U.S. Constitution, the Utah Constitution, requires that indigent defendants receive legal counsel for representation in criminal cases. Weber County provides that service, and we have just established our public defender department, and we have a number of contracts with individuals who provide those services. In the law, attorneys, they have duties to their clients. We have a fiduciary duty to represent them and serve their best interest. At times, when we represent multiple clients, conflicts can arise that would prevent us from providing legal service to a particular individual. So it's important for us to have a backup for someone to provide service when other attorneys within the office are conflicted out. And that's the purpose of this contract, is that the director, if he determines that a conflict exists, can assign a case to martial law, Randy Marshall, to represent that defendant, to make sure we're adhering to our duties.
All right, so also if we get overloaded, if the...
Correct. Yep.
Questions, commissioners?
None for me, whenever you're ready for a
I'm ready.
motion. So, Mr. Chair, I would move for approval of the contract by and between Weber County and martial law for the indigent defense conflict. I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
So, as some members of the public are aware, Weber County is the first county to bring public defenders in-house at the urging of some state and obviously liability issues. And as we went through the budget process, we spent a lot of time reviewing our public defenders and the services they provide. And I think that at the end of the day, again, another example of Weber County leading out in this state on defending people that would not necessarily maybe have the best legal representation, if I may say so. And again, it's a respect we show for our citizens and really the laws that are set in this state and country. So I support that.
Great. That's the first motion.
No. I'm going to, Mr. Chair, recuse myself from this vote for
okay.
personal reasons. I'm sorry I didn't let you know in advance.
That's quite all right. I'll be glad to second that.
Okay?
Very good. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll show Commissioner Harvey as recused. Very good. All right, commission comments today. Commissioners, anything you want to say? Now's your time.
Boy,
That's
No.
a quick meeting.
quick meeting. Let me, if I can, just make a little statement.
Sure.
You know,
Make a big statement.
well, okay. You know, I've watched in my time out to Golden Spike and in my time on Earth, I've watched horses and teams of horses pull wagons. And I've watched the team all pull together, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I've seen as much as 10 horse hitches, above 4s and 6s and 8s. The Budweisers are 8s, and even 10 horse hitches. I've watched horses be tied to the back of wagons and get pulled along by the team. I've also watched with interest how that wagon performs and those teams move around, and it's a thing of beauty to control each horse. When you get so many horses, that's why you have two drivers, because they put those reins between their hands and move them around. You know, I can't imagine what it would be like to hook a team of horses onto one end of the wagon and hook another team of horses onto the other end of the wagon. What that would do. It'd probably pull the wagon apart. You know, as we just finished our budget process this year, in my 30 years of being here at Weber County, never have I seen a team of horses go so good together. Everybody on this team, Weber County, seems to be doing really well. They all, the morale seems to be good. They all pull together, and because of that, we're in really good shape. And I'm grateful for our teams here. And because that wagon, which is Weber County, the county itself, our citizenry, they can trust that the county's in really good shape. You know, I was thinking about this earlier, and when you talked about the election and my experience becoming elected, we've really done, and I can say all of us, pretty comfortably, I can say that all of us have done our very best to exercise what we've learned in our past to represent the people who put us here in office. I think we've done so with honesty and integrity, without being self-serving, and with doing our very, very best from what we've learned. And I'm actually proud to have a position to be able to make a difference, and I'm grateful for it. And so, as I look at when we walk into our office and we see the Christy and Stacy and Shelley, and they have all these things there now that talk about giving thanks. Boy, I'm sure grateful for you guys and for our team here at Weber County. That's what I wanted to say today.
That's great, thank you. Appreciate that. Commissioner Shore?
No, I'm great, thanks. Good comments.
Yeah, appreciate that. I really don't have any comments either. I do have to agree with Commissioner Harvey. It's been tremendous being in these budget meetings with you, and we don't always agree. In fact, I remember at one point this year where Commissioner Harvey was like this. Really? Really? And so we do express our feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have to express those feelings. But we don't hold hard feelings. But we're done. Well, with that, I'm ready to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. We're adjourned.